Hey guys, welcome to our channel.
And please hit the subscribe button, also the notification button to be notified for our daily content, and please enjoy our video.
Okay guys, we're going to be reacting to Persona, explained by a Korean.
Let's get right into it.
BTS has dropped a comeback trailer to their latest album, The Map of the Soul, Persona, and it is absolutely amazing. The album title is the same as a well-known book about psychologist Carl Jung's Principles of Individuation, and BTS does no hiding that this is related, as there are many references to Carl Jung's theories as well as quotes in the MV. So to truly understand the song, we need to dig a little bit deeper into Carl.
That's pretty interesting how, they took some, inspiration from a book, right? I mean,
so the whole album is inspired by that book.
Huh.
So it's his theory of individuation it has inspired the whole album.
That's pretty interesting, because there's not that many people or artists that are doing
that are using psychology in their songs.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty unique, I guess, to BTS, right? They're like one of the few that all right.
Carl Jung's theories, which is what we'll do right in this video. Carl Jung divided the psyche, or the human mind, into the consciousness and the unconsciousness. He believed that by tapping onto and confronting the parts of the unconsciousness, one could obtain self-knowledge and lead to self-betterment. Today I'll introduce three elements of this principle: the persona, the ego, and the shadow. The persona is one of the elements in the conscious parts of the psyche, the very outer layer. It is a mask/character that one puts on when they expose themselves to the outer world. It's a compromise between the individual's personality and what society thinks one should look and behave like. Fundamentally, the persona is nothing real. It is like a borrowed personality that one puts on.
Okay, so that goes into the title, the song Persona. So it's based more so on this part of psychology, correct?
Right. So what you need to know about BTS is that they produce their music and their albums in trilogies. So, they always have 3 albums per concept. This concept is going to be 3 different albums. It starts off with Persona, and I don't know. You can predict that the other 2 are going to be maybe Shadow and Ego. I mean, it's not confirmed, but that's what everyone thinks.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So for this album, they explored just Persona. So let's see what comes next.
That's pretty cool.
On only in certain situations, and then takes them off when they are out of that situation. However, most people suffer from the inflation of this persona, and they over-identify themselves with this mask, resulting in this mask taking control of your entire psyche. Thus, Jung claimed that one must realize that the persona is not the totality of their being, but just a small component of a much larger personality. And this is achieved by diving into the unconsciousness and dissecting it. Now, another element, the ego, is the center of consciousness. It is what the consciousness believes and views itself to be. Essentially, the character that one thinks he or she should be. However, this is not the true self, as the true self encompasses both the unconsciousness and the conscious parts of the psyche. However, like the persona, many end up identifying themselves with the ego itself. The shadow is the sum of traits that are pushed back deep away from the awareness into the unconsciousness, mostly due to negative feedback or punishment from others when an individual did show these traits. These are the hidden unconscious aspects that the ego has repressed or never really recognized. These are mostly characteristics that one is probably not proud of and do not wish to acknowledge. The persona restricts the realization of the shadow to the outer world. For example, my shadow is right now telling me that I really want to pee in front of the camera right now. But the persona that I have on right now as DKTV's Danny
Period.
restricts me from peeing in front of the camera because the society, you, the viewers, don't want to see that or don't expect me to see that. So my persona is currently restricting my shadow's urge to pee in front of the camera.
Right. Oh, he's actually.
It's a well-timed pause.
No, so I get it. It's like so society, you know, doesn't
Expect something from you.
yeah. So this is what do you call it? A restriction because it's not acceptable in society, even though you want to do it, but that would be more of your primitive mindset, basically.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
like Freud, that's kind of like the it. Like that's what you want, but you know you can't, so you filter it out, and that's what you filter out, and what's left is the persona.
Exactly.
That's how I interpret it.
Because then you would be considered as an antisocial, you know, someone that doesn't belong in society. That would be someone.
Exactly. If you're peeing in front of the camera, then everyone would be like, that guy's weird. Right. Let's not talk to him at all. And you totally be ostracized from society, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why everyone needs a persona. Like every single person needs that, and what Jung is saying that I think is really interesting is that it's not just a mask. It's like part of who you are, and you'll see RM says that too. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool so far. Trying to understand. Now I understand the music video a lot more, you know.
Right.
Okay. All right, let's continue.
From the very first line, Nam-joon throws the question, who am I? This is the general theme of this song, and possibly this entire album, and also the series. He is confused with who he really is. What is his true self? This will likely be the theme of this era of BTS, a journey through their consciousness and unconsciousness to reach the true self. Here RM uses an idiom, 되제 진주 목걸이. This is an idiom
Yeah, that's actually something I didn't quite get.
Yeah,
when I
because
was
it's Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes right.
The idiom.
It's a Korean idiom, so.
Yeah, so you know, so there were a lot of lines here that
Meaning people who do not know the value cannot appreciate the treasures that are given to them. For pigs, a pearl necklace is basically useless. Now here in this verse, Nam-joon is confused. He feels happy with his success, yet he feels like he doesn't deserve all the success. Nam-joon doesn't know who he is, but others have rewarded him for his behavior.
Sorry, I don't know if you know his name. His name's Nam-joon. So he's like saying Nam-joon, but like...
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you do that.
If you really think about what kind of behavior he was rewarded for, he's being rewarded for his stage persona as RM. Him not knowing his true self and being rewarded for a certain persona makes him identify himself as RM more and more, as we will see in the following verses. Nam-joon says hesitation is his shadow. Again, as explained above, shadow is, in the Jungian theory, the traits that are pushed deep away from awareness into the unconsciousness due to negative feedback and punishment from others when they did show those traits. When Nam-joon says, ever since I became that, the that here is referring to RM, his stage persona. Notice how he says when he became RM, not when he is RM. RM is originally a persona, a stage persona that he puts on whenever he is with BTS and can take off whenever he isn't. However, Nam-joon himself has become RM. RM has become his ego, who he identifies himself with. As RM, he is a leader and cannot be showing his hesitant side. Nam-joon identifying himself as RM has repressed his hesitant side even more. You can see the little Nam-joon being thrown out onto the ground in this scene. This likely represents the shadow of Nam-joon being thrown out, essentially ignoring it exists as he amplifies his RM persona as his defining character. represented by the multiple mirrored images of RM in this scene. However, in the lyrics, he talks about something staring at him below the stage, or below the lights. If you think about it, what forms beneath him below the lights on the stage? Shadows. Despite Nam-joon never really showing his hesitant traits as RM, it was always lurking in his unconsciousness, and he was seeing it all along while on the stage. He was anxious because he was ignoring a big part of what made Nam-joon Nam-joon. Deep down, Nam-joon doesn't think he is worthy enough. Despite RM taking over his ego and projecting himself to be the leader, deep down he sees many flaws in himself. Yet he has been consumed by his persona as RM and believes that people will only appreciate him when he is RM. He says no one wants to see his clumsiness. So this thought reinforces his over-identification with the RM persona.
That basically someone sees only your success, but they don't believe that that you could have any flaws like outside of music.
Yeah, like when you're a celebrity, like what are you presenting to everyone? It has to be a persona.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting in the context of like celebrity. I think that's a cool concept to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've kind of held themselves like at a high tier too, right?
Yeah.
Like their performances, like you see how they're perfectionists, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because like I feel like they're also scared of like, well, not scared, but more like they don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
Mostly because of their fans.
And
also to the fans, right?
Right. They also are like in this industry of like being an idol in Korea. Like that's really high standards. Like you can't smoke, you can't drink. Like you can drink, but like you can't like do anything that looks controversial at all, or else like your career literally suffers. So they have to put on this face like to the Korean public that oh, I'm like this good person. Like, and that's not just BTS, but that's like all of like Korean celebrities in this K-pop idol industry. So I'm pretty like if you really think about that, that's so much pressure that you're like putting on anyone who's in that position. Exactly. Like, just pretending like, oh yeah, I'm like this like I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have a boyfriend, like I'm so innocent. Like that can't be true. So I think it's really cool that BTS and RM are addressing this specifically, especially being in that world, because they're definitely part of that world.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
There's so much meaning to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there's a lot to consume here.
Right.
Yeah. Just continue.
Due to his over-identification with his RM persona, it really troubles him. He feels regrets and he has troubling thoughts during
Well, actually, this is a bit conflicting because there's already subtitles.
Oh, true.
the night. However, the but in front of Kim Nam-joon keeps him going, keeps him working. Kim Nam-joon is the true self of Nam-joon. This Kim Nam-joon encompasses the faults and the shortcomings of Nam-joon. However, as mentioned above, his persona as RM has taken over him, and he feels he is RM. He feels he has to be the RM character or people will not appreciate it. Like he said about how no one is interested in seeing his clumsiness, he feels no one wants to see the true Nam-joon. So whenever he wants to get out of the RM persona because he's stressed, because he's having troubling thoughts, he remembers.
Like he just wants to feel like himself, like basically.
He doesn't want to be RM? Is that what he's saying?
No, now he's saying he's over-identifying with his persona. It's that like he's over-identifying with that one part of himself and ignoring the rest of it.
Like basically yourself like through a camera or as a celebrity, like because you have a different way you are, let's say, relaxing at home, then
you have a different persona when you're relaxing at home as opposed to being in front of a camera, for sure.
Like
which is normal.
You want to be perfect, when you're seen. I guess you're in the spotlight,
Yeah, so that must be like living like that must be like, I don't know, for me it'd be really, really stressful.
It's a lot of pressure, like anything you do, like, and they're literally always on camera. These people, like that.
All the time. And people know where they are all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just imagine that. And like, and then everything that you do like ends up like in a movie or a video or something else. Just that's just so much. I don't know. I don't think anyone, like any just ordinary person, could do that. And like,
no, they're really special.
I mean, they're like, I don't know. They just got used to that kind of stuff, or like they really just like think it's a sacrifice to be able to do what they like to do, which is music. So
yeah. So he feels like he should be like RM all the time, like his music persona, basically. Like
right.
Yeah.
Right. He thinks that that's the only thing that people want to see.
Yeah, that's true. Because nobody wants to see someone fail. Or
I care. I want to see all of him. that sounded bad, but I just mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's continue.
All right. Yeah.
But I'm Kim Nam-joon. If I'm not RM, then I'll be Kim Nam-joon, the true me, and no one wants to see the true me, or so he thinks. So that keeps him awake, that keeps him going as the RM persona. Again, Nam-joon is over-identifying himself with his persona. He remembers himself as RM at this point, and this is the only method he feels he can vent out. Now, a persona is a fake identity, and Nam-joon says he has lied and hidden behind the persona, but he isn't embarrassed about that. He thinks the persona is the map of the soul, again, which is a red flag for overly identifying himself with the persona. Also in the video, you can see a huge giant 3D version of RM. It looks very fake, highlighting how a persona is a fake personality. It has also become bigger than Nam-joon himself, showing how it has overtaken his ego. To sum it up, this is a song of...
Sorry, I just wanted to say, I disagree with his analysis there. I don't think I don't think it's taking over, as he said. I don't think his persona is taking over him. I think that his persona is just bigger than he is. It's maybe not, I don't think it's taking over it, because in the video he says that, you can see that he's over-identifying it with his persona because there's this big, giant CGI version of himself. But they're separate. So I think that's where his analysis is incorrect. I disagree with it personally, and I think that it's still part of who he is, and he's acknowledging that in his verses. But I don't think he is like saying that's all of that is me. I just think that he's saying that part of me is bigger than who I am, which is a stage persona. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my analysis.
Nam-joon overly identifying himself as RM, the persona, and denying his true self with all its flaws and traits. This seems like a fitting theme for the intro to The Map of the Soul, as likely they will soon come to realize that they must acknowledge and face the shadows, their deep inner flaws, in order to realize their true self and break free from the persona and the ego. I will predict just one thing. This album will not be as upbeat as this comeback trailer makes it seem to be.
I just wanted to say he was wrong.
He was very wrong.
He was very wrong. So,
yeah, I saw letting your eyes go.
He was wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
The moment he said it, I was like, no.
So this came out before the album. So
Yeah.
that's why.
I watched this before, so I knew he was gonna say it. I was ready to say no.
You shut him down.
So,
Wow.
just so you know, his analysis aren't always correct.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
It may be one of the darkest albums of BTS yet, since these themes will take you deeper into the mind and its not so beautiful parts than any BTS album has ever been.
Persona, who the hell am I? I just wanna go, I just wanna fly, I just wanna give you
Now,
all the
honestly, I'm really curious about how you interpreted this music video, so please, if you have any thoughts, feel free to comment and also share this with fellow armies. Now, we do have a Patreon page where you can support.
Patreon.
Oh, so it's over?
Yeah.
Okay, so now for this video, we're going to do it a little differently. We're not going to give a review because we already reviewed the song based on what we saw visually. So right now, what I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask each one of you what you guys like took from this video. So I'm going to start with you, Carlos.
Yeah, I like how he explains things. It's very in depth. You know, he goes in and tells you the meaning behind every lyric. Like he shows you the lyric and then he talks about it, like what exactly means. So, you know, this video actually helped me understand a bit more because there were parts that I didn't quite get, you know, while watching it the first time. But you know, if I were to watch it again, keeping this in mind, it definitely helps. So catch a lot of things I missed, and so I thought it was pretty good. Now I see perfect at explaining everything. I'm guessing he does have some flaws, but overall, I mean, he's still pretty good, you know, at explaining it. So.
Yeah, okay, thank you for that, Carlos.
All right, good.
And now you, Fatima, what did you take from this? Well, you've seen it already, but I want to know what you took from it more.
Well, I already watched this video a few more times, so one more time wouldn't hurt. What I really like about this video is because the way he explains it, we have similar opinions in the song and like what he thought about it, and then it makes you think about the song more, and it makes you realize that like it's not just him talking about like himself as an idol, he's talking about himself as a person and how he feels like he has to cut himself in half and show only part of himself so people will like him. And I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to that. It might not be like fully, but like you probably don't show certain things to certain people, or like you only show certain parts of what you want other people to see, and it makes you realize that like it's not just you, it's other people too. And so I really like the way he explained it. I like all his references. I took a psychology class. Yeah. So I feel like the connection.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That feels so cool. Like,
deep right now, what you said.
Music.
Yeah.
And I really like it because he explains more about how like RM feels and his conflict between how he likes to do all this music and he likes to do all of this, but like he can't fully show himself to people because he's afraid that people won't like it as much as his persona. So he just wraps himself in it. He just wraps himself in the persona and doesn't let other people see it. See himself. Yeah. So I really like that. I really like the explanation with it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was a deep dive into this. Now for you, Sam. Since you already explained a lot.
I know. I made a lot of comments already. But what I took from this the first time that I saw it, I didn't really know that much about Carl Jung and his theories and his theory of individuation. So I really liked the way that Danny explained, you know, like this is the persona, this is the shadow, this is the ego. He didn't go into the anima, which is also another part of Jung's psychology. But he explained the three that like BTS had on the chalkboard and like are making references to. And I think that was really simple. Like he really like boiled it down to the most basic parts and he explained it well. And I think that's really great because it helps so many other people understand it. And what I appreciate about the channel is the way that he puts in Korean references that all these international fans wouldn't know otherwise.
He does his research, right?
Yeah, and and he can appreciate the idioms and then tell us, like a pearl on a necklace, a pearl necklace on a pig. That means that it's something that you can't appreciate because a pig can't appreciate the value of a pearl necklace. Yeah. That's something I think that's small things like that like really add to the experience of the song. I think that you can only understand with having someone who is from that culture explaining it. Yeah. So I really like that about this video. And honestly, like I didn't get it. When I first saw the song, when I first saw Persona, I was like, what? And I completely like all of the imagery I didn't get, like the whole big CGI. I was like, what is that about? Like why is there so, and then the amount of different little RMs that there were in the video. Like I was like, why are there so many of them?
Yeah.
And I didn't get it until I watched this video that it meant like, oh, there's so many other ones of himself, because he's saying that he has different personas of himself, and there's so many of him, and and that's what the CGI is too, like a version of himself. So I really I really am thankful for the video, that it really helped me understand the song so much more, and like also the visuals of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I took away.
Well, thank you. And well, for me, like based on like what we've seen his channel before, like he actually explained and broke down Dang for us.
Right, there's two of them actually.
Oh, two. Oh yeah, I think we saw the other. Yeah,
Danny and David.
It's Danny and David.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember there was some drama between them too, right?
Yeah, we told you about that. We told you about that.
Yeah, the guy who we just saw was the one who was canceled. Apparently they apologized.
Yes, they did like 3 apology videos.
They still lost like a bunch of
we probably should not get into that right now.
Let's not get into
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Anyway.
I still support them though.
Yeah, but like I really like their channel, I guess.
Right, their explain is good.
Yeah, they're really good at it. Like, especially for me, like I'm not really like a big BTS like know-it-all like other people.
What you trying to say?
No, I'm not saying anything.
He's saying we're BTS know-it-alls.
That was okay. I phrased it wrong.
It's okay. I accept that label.
But I mean, I wish I knew more about them like you guys, because like I can't really talk about them without people getting mad.
Yeah,
it's okay.
So,
to understand them better.
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
Like, their concepts and all that.
We're here to help.
That's right.
No, but yeah, like I really like them, I guess, and thank you for joining us for this reaction.
Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe. Yeah. Like, please subscribe for daily like videos.
Yeah.
All day, 24/7. So
yeah, upload daily. Seriously.
Yeah, so just check us out, and please comment in the comments below just to see like you can add to it.
Yeah.
If you dislike us or whatever, but please comment. I read all the comments.
Me too.
And he takes
suggestions. Down and just read the comments.
And he takes the suggestions, and he approves, and anything else, or any other videos that you want us
I spend my time
to.
just reading comments and liking the comments.
Please be nice. We don't mean any harm.
Yes.
We read all comments.
Thank you for watching, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.